We open on a fortress prison on a cliff. Inside, whispers travel among the inmates. A newcomer challenged the boss's right-hand man. In this brutal place, death is expected. Under the moonlight, the crowd roars for a fight. They gather hungry for a spectacle, but their smug grins vanish into disbelief. This newcomer fights back with pure ferocity. His fists are a bloody blur. Even held back, he won't stop the assault. This enforcer's face is completely pummeled. Battered and bleeding, the kid is not done yet. He throws off the men holding him back. A snarl of pure untamed rage. He takes on the entire group at once. Bodies lie scattered around the lone victor. This onlookers are stunned into silence. Against all odds, the newcomer has won. This boss's man is left a broken mess. To them, he doesn't even look human. He's a force of pure destructive nature, something that crawled out of hell itself. A mad dog let off its leash. Suddenly, a searchlight snaps on. Caught in the beam, the victor stands alone. A mad dog from hell, he scoffs. He stands over the fallen, correcting them. This place he came from was far worse than any hell. A flashback begins to a miserable life, an empty sunlit school hallway. A student recalls his lonely existence. Until the day he found his target. A boy named Amamori hides in a storage room. He presses his ear to the door listening. His entire body trembles in fear. He grits his teeth, trying not to make a sound. He knew he was marked from the very beginning. A footstep stops right outside. This hunter calls his name a chilling song. This shadow under the door disappears. Amamori wonders if he's finally safe. A single tear of relief escapes, but the hunter is already behind him. A cold dread washes over Amamori. His mind screams one word: run. This bully's twisted smile fills the darkness. He promises something more terrifying than hell. He lunges at his cornered prey and offers some twisted advice for the pain. A man promises a perfect one-shot success. His victim can only weep in terror. He holds a strange, spiky object over him. This narration explains this is a world of sadists. In a trashed room, a man complains his weapon broke. A trail of blood shows the fate of the weak. This public protests a failing juvenile justice system, but the law is weak, letting young criminals walk free. This government's response is a hollow gesture. With no real consequences, youth violence explodes. For the bullies, it's just a game. For the victims, it's an inescapable nightmare, leaving only the most desperate way out. At another school, two students walk with arrogance. A lone student watches them from the gate. Later, a boy is cornered in an alley. This bullies taunt him, grabbing his face. They mock him about his brother, a killer in juvie, using his family's shame as an excuse to rob him. This kid finally snaps, defending his brother's name. His defiance earns him a brutal punch. This group swarms him, beating him into submission. Elsewhere, a boy with glasses walks home defeated. His only thought: he survived another day. He stops, noticing a stray dog in a box. A student sees a wounded dog, a kindred spirit. Suddenly, he hears a commotion nearby. He stands up, telling them to stop. A boy is on the ground being kicked. He recognizes the attacker's school uniform. This bully's turn, calling him Amamori. They grab him with a menacing smile. Amamori is trapped by the group. This leader demands money for his friends. He scoffs at the pathetic amount in the wallet. He orders Amamori to bring him breakfast tomorrow. Defeated, Amamori quietly agrees. He watches them, his expression hardening. This beaten student groans on the pavement. Amamori turns back to the bullies. He asks them to let the kid go. This leader looks back in disbelief. He claims the boy is guilty by association. He grabs Amamori, warning him not to be cocky. He dares him to defy their real boss, Kanemoto. A flashback reveals Kanemoto, Amamori's personal demon. Kanemoto is a rich sadist who targeted him on day one. Under his rule, you either go crazy or you die. This bully threatens him with total humiliation. A footstep echoes in a dark alley. A witness claims he saw nothing, too scared to help. On the ground, a boy is beaten senseless. This bully's laugh, telling him no one is coming to save him. Our boy walks away, crushed by his own cowardice. Tears stream down his face, full of regret. He feels utterly alone, a solitary existence. He stands at the edge of his world, a lonely shadow. At home, the scene is just as bleak. His foster father, drunk, demands his paycheck. His mother pleads, explaining it's for their living expenses. This man silences her with a bottle slammed on the table. A door clicks shut, trapping her inside with him. He hears the man's cruel demands from the other side. This kid covers his ears, powerless to stop the horror. He blames his own weakness for his mother's suffering. This man's voice roars, calling them filthy animals. This cruel words echo in his mind, breaking him down. A memory surfaces, the bullies surrounding him. They forced him to the ground, humiliating him. Their taunts about his parents become monstrous shadows. But insulting his mother crosses a sacred line. Something inside him finally snaps. He bursts into the room, screaming for it to stop. This abuser turns, his rage now focused on the boy. This large man smashes a cup over the boy's head. Glass and liquid spray from the impact. This kid collapses onto the wooden floor. This man threatens to crush him as his mother screams his name. Jen, dazed and bleeding, Jen spots a knife on a nearby desk. His hand closes around the handle. A fire ignites behind his glasses. This man turns his rage on the mother. But Jen lunges forward, screaming for him to stop. This abuser turns, shocked by the defiance. His mother begs him to calm down, saying she's fine. Jin stands firm, vowing to protect her. This man just spits on the floor. He calls the boy's courage ridiculous. He grabs a belt, mocking Jin for his weakness. This leather strap drags across the floor. This mother watches in terror, begging him to stop. He dares the useless boy to try and fight back. He swings the belt, promising to teach him a lesson. Jin braces for the incoming strike. But his hand shoots up, catching the strap midair. His glasses gleam with cold determination. He yanks hard, pulling the man off balance. A sudden violent burst of red fills the screen. This memory dissolves into the falling rain. Rain hammers against the window. A hulking man stands outside. Blood splatters across his chest. This weapon clatters to the floor. Jen collapses in utter shock. He can't believe what he's done. This man holds his mother captive. He roars, realizing he's been stabbed. Jen only wanted to protect her. This brute dares him to try again. He towers over the terrified boy. But his mother grabs the man's leg. She looks up, pleading for her son. She begs him to forgive Jen's actions. Her pleas only fuel his rage. He raises a fist to strike her down. This blow connects with sickening force. Jen screams, begging him to stop. This man pauses, momentarily confused. He vows to discipline the boy for good. His mother weakly tells him to run. Sweat pours down Jen's neck. But he makes a vow to protect her. She tells him to save himself. Empty bottles litter the floor nearby. His mother screams for him to run. A younger version of the man collapses. He flees, apologizing to his mom. An abusive man glares down at him. He blames the mother for everything. She whispers a name through her tears. Her last word is a desperate plea to run. This memory fades, leaving him alone in the rain. He remembers running away, abandoning his mother. On a rooftop, he feels useless, then spots someone below. Two women notice him getting soaked. He hides his face in shame. He just wants to be left alone. Suddenly, the rain stops. A woman offers him her umbrella. She tells him to get home safely. He's stunned, his hand trembling as he takes it. This woman and her friend hurry away. She explains her brother taught her to always help people. Now dry, he wonders where he's supposed to go. Something small brushes against his leg. His eyes snap open. A small wet dog looks up at him. He recognizes the animal from before. He tells the dog he has no food and no home. In the pouring rain, a stray dog barks at him. This man decides to follow, running through the downpour. Towering skyscrapers loom over the empty city. He chases the small guide across a deserted street. This dog stops, waiting for him to catch up. His face is a mask of pure exhaustion. It leads him to a dry, sheltered underpass. He realizes this is where the dog brought him. With nowhere else to go, he closes his umbrella. He huddles in a corner to spend the night. Morning light breaks over the city. His small guide faces off against a larger, aggressive dog. A sinister voice cuts through the darkness. Old acquaintance Takai appears with two women. Emamori is startled, discovered in his hiding spot. Takai claims they just live nearby. He smirks, calling Emamori his best friend, a friend he would be bored without. Emamori is frozen with fear as the small dog growls. This bully taunts him for his silence. He grabs Emamori's face, demanding he bark like a dog. Emamori's jaw clenches in silent rage. Takai's patience wears thin, his threats escalating. Our boy looks up, utterly broken. This bully grabs his hair, yanking his head back. This tormentor grabs his hair, demanding he bark, but a small dog leaps to his defense. This villain recoils, hand bleeding. He realizes the dog protected him. This villain unleashes his own beast, Seimaru. This two dogs face off. This larger dog bares its teeth. It lunges, a blur of motion. Jaws lock onto the smaller animal. This owner can only watch in horror. His tormentor savors the moment. This man with glasses pleads for mercy, but he's forced to watch closely. A cruel lesson: the weak protect nothing. He screams that his pet will die. This villain shows no pity. He forces him to see the final moments, a warning reflected in his glasses. This final bite is swift and fatal. This loyal pet falls silent. Blood splatters across the man's face. He's held up to see what he's caused. He struggles, but it's useless. This villain looks on with disgust. He shoves the man to the ground. This tormentor gives a sick ultimatum. He starts a countdown to 5. This boy's hope shatters on the floor. He mourns his fallen companion, remembering the courage it gave him, but now he's alone again. He grits his teeth in pure anguish. His fist clenches, trembling with despair. Suddenly he stands up. This bully watches, confused. His confusion turns to anger. He threatens the boy with reform school, a place he says where he'd die quick. He whispers there is no escape. Then he brings up the boy's mother, making vile threats against his family. This insults echo in the boy's mind. Something inside him finally snaps. This bully says Kanemoto's name used to inspire fear. But now Kanemoto's eyes burn with light. He explodes, screaming with pure rage. He grabs his tormentor, roaring. This first punch lands, shocking the bully. Kanemoto unleashes a furious assault. He bites down, driven by vengeance. A brutal headbutt connects with a sickening crunch. This bully Kanemoto lets out a final agonized scream. Onlookers cry out, calling the attacker a murderer. Kanemoto's mother rushes past, screaming for her son. This attacker stands over the body, breathing heavily. His blood-splattered face fades into a clear sky. This scene transitions to a family court building. A gavel slams down, demanding order. This judge reads the charges against defendant Amakoi-sen. Amakoi-sen, bandaged, remembers the moment of his arrest. He tried to explain the bullying, but the police wouldn't listen. His own father was paid off, his mother kept away. With no one left to turn to, his fate was sealed. He was sentenced to 5 years in a juvenile reformatory. That day he was escorted out in handcuffs. He left one hell only to arrive at another, a place he knew would be even more brutal. The doors of the juvenile reformatory slam shut. Barbed wire fences cut across a rainy sky. He shuffles forward, his ankles in chains. A guard shoves him from behind, telling him to move. He reflects on the injustice. The victim punished, the villain free. He's herded toward the inspection room. A guard barks orders for everyone to strip. Amakoi-sen finds himself surrounded by hardened inmates. A guard demands his name. This kid stammers Amamori. This guard's eyes narrow with contempt. He recognizes the name, the infamous Nosebiter. He's handed a number, 8725. That is his only name now. This new inmates are marched outside. Amamori shuffles forward in chains. Another official waits with a clipboard. He orders them to raise their hands. Amamori complies, bound and bruised. This official checks his list. His photo is slapped onto the file. Next, a humiliating physical inspection begins. Amamori grits his teeth in fury. Other inmates watch, waiting their turn. He hesitates for a moment. A brutal blow sends him to the floor. He stares up, his dignity stripped away. Gen Amamori inmate 8725 officially processed. Light streams through a barred window. This prisoners are assembled in a vast hall. A guard announces the director's arrival. A man in a fine suit steps into view. He smiles, welcoming them to their new home. A new inmate Amamori arrives at the reform school. This warden delivers a sinister welcome speech. A guard summons him to his cell. Other inmates watch, seeing fresh prey. Two brutes are eager for a new target. Jeers echo from the cells, calling him a punching bag. Amamori ignores them, clutching his belongings. This guard stops him dead in his tracks. He's been given a special room. This cell door looms ahead. This is his assigned place. This guard stands menacingly behind him and shoves him violently inside. Amamori faces a room full of hostile inmates. This cell's leader approaches with a cruel smile. They surround him, chanting his name. A sudden strike sends his glasses flying. This leader grabs him, demanding his number. Beaten Amamori spits out his inmate number. It's time for the initiation ritual. Terror fills his eyes as the group closes in. His face is shoved into a dirty basin. They force his head down, humiliating him. This leader declares that Amamori is now his dog. For now, he can only grit his teeth and endure. This bully taunts the new inmate. He decides the beating is over. Now it's time to learn the rules. A brutal hierarchy governs this place. Rule 1, give everything to the cell boss. Rule 2, never defy your superiors. These consequences are made very clear. Then comes a humiliating demand. This kid is ordered to be a human stool. This cell boss can't reach the sink. He uses the boy's back to climb, a so-called honor for the lowest of the low. This boss smirks, readying himself. This inmate's face fills with terror. Something inside him finally snaps. He throws the boss into the sink. This cell boss roars in absolute fury. He's surrounded by the entire cell block. He thinks he's not going to make it, but a calm voice cuts through the chaos. A new inmate steps in to intervene. He asks the boss to let it go. This boss warns him to back off. This man offers a peaceful solution. He suggests the kid might be important. This scarred man considers the worst-case scenario. He reluctantly agrees to the plan. A large inmate explodes with rage. He leaves the newcomer in Tamiya's care. Tamiya now stands as the authority in the cell. He offers something to the beaten inmate, a simple gesture to help him clean up. This inmate is shocked by the kindness. Tamiya gives him a grim warning: endure or die. He offers an alliance a path to survival. Tamiya begins explaining the facility's rigid schedule. He details the assigned general labor duties. This new ally listens, a flicker of hope in his eyes. A guard announces the start of free time. Inmates immediately rush out into the yard. Others gossip about a recurring event. Tamiya tells his new friend to watch closely. He reveals a map of the entire reform school. This is the hidden truth of their prison. At night, a crowd gathers by the fence for a spectacle. A shirtless challenger calls out his opponent. This target, Hongxiang, seems completely unfazed. He smirks, ready for the confrontation. A brutal punch lands with devastating force. This challenger is sent flying, instantly defeated. A crowd screams for blood from behind the fence. This new kid watches in absolute terror. He can't believe no one is stopping the brawl. Even the guards just stand by, completely indifferent. His guide explains this is the true nature of the school. It's divided into 4 districts, a lawless territory. Here only one thing makes the rules: pure strength. This kid struggles to comprehend this brutal system. The stronger you are, the higher you rank. This best fighters can even rule a district for the guards. It makes the guards' jobs easier, so they turn a blind eye to the violence. He gestures to the fight as a perfect example. This crowd roars, bets riding on the outcome. 1 man against 4, and he's dominating. He locks an opponent in a crushing hold. A savage grin spreads across his face. He brings his fist down with brutal force. This impact is devastating. Without pausing, he turns to the next challenger. He effortlessly blocks the incoming strike and counters with a vicious elbow to the face. This man is sent flying back from the blow. Only one opponent remains, stunned by the display. He realizes he's not fighting a man but a monster. A bandaged fist clenches with intent. This blonde brawler lunges forward with a roar. He closes the distance in a flash, but the dark-haired fighter lands a brutal uppercut. This impact sends his opponent reeling backward. He stands over the defeated man, victorious. He calmly picks up his shirt from the ground. This crowd parts, watching him in stunned silence. They can't believe the strength they just witnessed. This bespectacled inmate stares, completely amazed. He thinks the fighter doesn't even seem human. A cold, determined look crosses the victor's face. Later that night, the inmate replays the fight in his mind. He knows that kind of power is impossible for him. He turns over in his bunk, defeated. This next day arrives. Inmates gather in the noisy mess hall. This bespectacled inmate asks how the fight went unpunished. His tablemate explains the facility's unspoken rule: beat a higher-ranked person and you take their spot. He asks if anyone can challenge the strongest. His friend smirks, saying it's pointless without real power, because the guards don't care if you end your opponent. This brutal reality of this place hits him hard. This advice is simple: keep your head down or find protection. A commotion erupts in the mess hall. This boss has arrived. An inmate warns our boy to show respect. A smirking man greets the North Ward's leader. This hulking boss commands the room's attention. He walks with heavy, deliberate steps. This giant stops right in front of Jen. Jen stammers out a terrified yes. A fist suddenly clenches his shirt. This man reveals his name, Ritsu Kanemode. He's the brother of the man Jen attacked. Ritsu orchestrated his transfer to this ward. He claims Jen as his personal property. A challenger is immediately forced to bow. This boss enjoys the display of fear. A kind inmate offers help, whispering a warning. Jen is assigned to clean the showers alone. He hopes the isolation will protect him, but he's not alone for long. A bald predator corners the new meat. This large inmate circles him with a hungry look. He leans in, saying he wants to play. Jen is struck while pleading for him to stop. Suddenly, the shower turns on full blast. This attacker taunts him under the cold spray. This hulking inmate relishes the moment. He corners a terrified prisoner in the showers. His grip tightens, his intentions clear. This kid struggles, trapped and panicked. He fights back with everything he has. A desperate headbutt connects. This chief is only amused by the defiance. He grabs the kid's hair, enjoying the struggle. This inmate grabs his arm, pleading, but another prisoner intervenes, stopping the assault. He reminds the chief Nagao of the ward boss's orders. Nagao glares, his fun interrupted. He laughs it off, claiming it was just a game. Then he offers the protector, Ritsu, a new deal. He warns Ritsu that protecting the weak has a cost. Ritsu stands firm as Nagao walks away. He checks on the shaken inmate. Ritsu explains that retaliation is now guaranteed. This dejected inmate walks away, his fate sealed. Later, a foot stomps down in the corridor. Ritsu finds himself surrounded by Nagao's crew. They demand to know why he interfered. A fist smashes into his face without warning. This whole gang descends, delivering a brutal beating. As they gloat, a woman in a lab coat appears. A bully smirks at the doctor, Dr. Kanda. She tells them not to overdo it. This men leave, trusting her to handle things. He gets one last chilling threat. Inside the infirmary, the door closes. Dr. Kanda prepares to treat his wounds. She dabs at the raw scrapes on his back. She offers a moment of kindness, but he endures the pain in silence. His resilience seems to surprise her. She notes his unexpected toughness. Later, back in the dark cell, he worries about his friend Masaki. He fears the bullies got to him. Another inmate frantically calls for a guard. This commotion wakes the cell chief. Our boy joins the desperate cries for help. But the chief explodes in anger. He freezes, facing the cell's leader. He pleads, explaining Masaki never returned. This chief strikes him down hard. He's told to just shut up and wait. His sleep was disturbed, nothing more. Powerless, he can only clench his fist. His mind races, fearing for Masaki's fate. Prisoners gather in the common area. A man with glasses pushes through the crowd. He's met with hostile glares. His eyes widen in pure shock. An injured man is wheeled past on a gurney. Inmates point towards the aftermath. A shower room is covered in blood. A large, bald inmate smirks at his horror. His hand trembles, clenching into a fist. He turns, accusing the man directly. This bald man admits it was entertaining. Now he wants to play with him. He grabs the smaller man, dragging him away. There's no escape from this. A brutal assault begins. This crowd watches the beating unfold. He struggles for air, desperate. Suddenly, a hand stops the attack. This large man turns, enraged. A dark-haired man shoves him aside. This victim recognizes his savior. This dark-haired man just wants a shower. This bully is stunned by his presence. He quickly backs down, deciding to leave. This newcomer notes the bath is now dirty. This bald inmate Nagao seethes with anger. He takes it out on a weaker prisoner. Nagao walks off with a final chilling threat. This bullied inmate trembles before our boy. Later, the sound of running water. He watches the MC, wondering about his terrifying power. He wishes for that strength to protect those he loves. This MC tells him to leave. A sudden memory strikes him, Masaki. He rushes back to the cells. He finds his friend Masaki lying injured in bed. Masaki blames himself, feeling like a burden. This inmate clenches his fists, desperate for a way to get stronger. Suddenly, Masaki's eyes open. He insists he's fine, that he received treatment, but his friend is overwhelmed by guilt. Masaki takes his hand, telling him not to cry. This inmate breaks down, asking why he'd go so far. Masaki lies back, his expression weary. He pulls a folded paper from his shirt. He says the inmate reminds him of his little brother. He shows a photo of two young men. He confesses he took the fall for his brother's crime. All he wants is for his brother to live a normal life. This inmate realizes he's met Masaki's brother before. This injured roommate asks about someone. He desperately wants to know if he's okay. Tamiya lies, saying he looked happy with friends. Relief washes over the man. His sacrifice was worth it. Tamiya stands, vowing to make Nagao pay. He can't understand the hesitation. But his roommate silences him with a grave look. He reveals this reform school holds a secret, a terrifying secret that changes everything. This man continues, whispering the dark truth. Suddenly, their cell door rattles open. A hulking inmate calls out Tamiya's name. He mocks him with a crude insinuation. Tamiya explodes, denying the accusation. He trembles with rage, ready to fight, but his roommate steps in with a cold warning. He dares the bully to say it to Nagao's face. This threat works. The bully backs off. Tamiya is stunned by his roommate's composure. This man explains survival here means hiding who you are. You must use every tool at your disposal. Tamiya connects this to the terrifying secret. His friend suggests the infirmary for tomorrow. He helps the injured man back into his bunk, but in the dark something else is watching. A young man lies awake, coughing in the dark. He peers down from his bunk worried. He remembers Masaki's advice, just endure it silently. But is that really the way to survive here? He wishes he could be strong like him. Even Nagao, the strongest inmate, was afraid. He recalls the brutal fight against 4 men. He throws a punch in his bed, imagining the fight, another frantic swing into the air, but it's no use, he's powerless. He curls up, wondering how he can live safely. Rain falls on the barbed wire fence. Elsewhere, 2 inmates are escorted by a doctor. One supports the other, who can barely walk. This helper is shocked to see they're not alone. A man in a suit and his guards block the path. He questions why the new kid and Dr. Kanda are out. This doctor explains Tamiya is unwell and needs the infirmary. This man in the suit asks what happened. This new kid lies, claiming an old wound reopened. This man accepts the story for now. He walks away with a knowing, sinister smile. This new kid asks why he didn't mention Nagao. Tamiya's answer is grim: trust no one here. He whispers a dark secret about a drug operation. Masaki grabs his informant, demanding to know who's behind the crime. He doesn't have a name yet, but has a plan. He warns the man to keep this between them. As they walk unseen, eyes watch from the darkness. Later in the quiet infirmary, a doctor tends to Masaki's fresh wounds. Suddenly, 2 guards barge into the room. They're here for Masaki Tamiya by the director's order. Masaki refuses, confusing his friend. This doctor intervenes, taking responsibility for his care, but the guard threatens her job, insisting they leave. She stands her ground, unwavering. Seeing the standoff, Masaki finally agrees to go. His friend wishes him well, promising to wait. Masaki gives a knowing, determined look. He recalls Masaki's final advice: endure in silence and to trust absolutely no one. With that, Masaki is led away. This informant smirks, his plan unfolding. He believes Masaki will finally get what he deserves. Outside, the sun shines over the facility's fence. Life inside the institution continues as usual. This informant feigns concern for his absent friend. Nearby, a rumor begins to spread through the cafeteria. Someone tried to escape last night and was killed. A cruel smile spreads across a man's face. This name echoes through the mess hall: Masaki Tamiya. A food tray crashes to the floor. This man with glasses flinches, turning around. He processes the shocking news. Masaki is dead. He can't believe it. It has to be a lie. Heavy footsteps approach. Prison guards march into the room. This lead guard, Shiro Katsumata, makes his presence known. He turns to face the inmates. This room falls silent under his gaze. He announces Masaki Tamiya escaped after injuring 2 guards. Then he reveals Masaki was struck by a truck and died. This man with glasses knows this story is impossible. This lead guard issues a threat to the entire room. A chilling warning: behave or end up like him. This guards depart, their message delivered. He remembers Masaki being led away waving. A large inmate scoffs at the news, calling it a waste. This man with glasses explodes with rage. This large inmate taunts him with the truth. He reveals how he broke Masaki's will. He laments losing his toy, but the man with glasses vows revenge. He lunges forward, fist flying. A desperate punch lands on the hulking brute. This impact barely phases him. He retaliates with a devastating kick. This smaller man takes a brutal punch to the gut. This bully mocks his pathetic attempt at revenge. From the floor, the victim grabs his attacker's leg. This giant glares down, annoyed. He stomps on the man, calling him trash. His cronies watch on, amused by the beating. Another heavy blow connects. He lifts the man, asking if he's playing dead. This bully winds up for another punch, but a hand intercepts the attack. A shadowy man asks about the spilled soup. This bully's face contorts in shock and fear. This newcomer calmly holds the brute's arm. He effortlessly throws the giant aside. Onlookers warn each other not to get involved. A bandaged inmate offers his own soup to de-escalate. Another prisoner tries to calm the bully down. This entire mess hall watches the confrontation. This bully fumes, knowing he can't back down. This victim lies on the ground, battered. This shadowy man tells him to live for Tamiya's sake. He grits his teeth, burning with helpless rage. Shin walks through the tense prison cafeteria. Another inmate lies on the floor, clutching his chest. He ignores the chaos, focused only on his meal, but a massive bald inmate blocks his path. Shin's command is simple and cold: move. This brute is stunned by his sheer audacity. He tries to reassert his dominance, shouting. His cronies attempt to hold him back. Shin gives him one last chance to avoid humiliation, but the bully's pride is on the line. A spectacled inmate watches, certain Shin can't win. Shin dismisses him, saying his food is getting cold. Enraged, the brute lunges forward to attack. This other prisoners start placing their bets. He throws a punch with all his might. He's been training, aiming to reclaim his top spot. He roars, demanding Shin fight like a man. His fist smashes into the metal food tray. His gang cheers, confident in their leader's power. This spectacled man is terrified by the display. Shin sighs, this whole thing is just a pain. He effortlessly sidesteps another wild swing. This brute thinks he sees an opening. This is his moment to become the new king. He unleashes a final decisive blow. This new inmate senses an attack. A scarred brute lunges from behind. He throws a massive punch, but our boy blocks it with one arm. He counters with a devastating elbow. This brute's face erupts in blood. His crew RUSHES to their fallen chief. This new inmate calmly notes he spilled his food. He walks away, leaving chaos behind him. This brute seethes with humiliation. A glasses-wearing inmate understands might makes right. A guard storms in, demanding order. He asks the brute if he needs a doctor, but he refuses. This guard's face is a mask of annoyance. He orders them to stop causing trouble. This brute glares at the new inmate eating peacefully. He silently promises this isn't over. This brute turns his rage on the glasses-wearing inmate. He warns him that their boss gets out in a year, and that boss will hunt him down. This threat leaves the man terrified. Later, he's in the infirmary. This doctor recognizes her frequent patient. He's still haunted by the brute's words. This doctor asks if he's all right. A hand turns the handle. He enters the infirmary. Ignoring the others, he walks past. He grabs a bottle from the shelf. This bandaged man tries to get his attention. He stands blocking the way. This guy tells him to move, but the inmate is desperate. He bows, begging to be taught how to fight. This black-haired man is unmoved. He simply asks why he should. This inmate explains he angered a powerful boss, so this is about survival. He confirms it, wanting to see his mother again, but the request is flatly denied. He grabs the man's sleeve, refusing to give up. He insists that in here strength is everything. He begs again, pleading for a chance. In the mirror, the nurse watches the exchange. This guy brushes him off, completely indifferent. He has no time to be a teacher. As he turns to leave, the inmate tries again. He reveals his enemy is a ruthless killer named Kanemoto. This black-haired man says it's a pointless fight. He tells him to just get treated in return. This fighter offers a cold warning. Alone, the man with glasses despairs. He walks through the desolate prison. Suddenly, inmates start fighting over something. A photograph flutters to the ground. This man's eyes widen in horror. He lunges into the fray. It's a keepsake for a dead man's family. A vicious kick sends him sprawling. This bullies tell him he's all alone. They pin him to the floor. They taunt him, saying he's finished, and tear the precious photo to shreds. His face twists in absolute fury. He sprints from the room. Out into the pouring rain he runs. He refuses to accept this fate. He casts his jacket aside. This black-haired man is their training. This inmate declares his will to live. He will do whatever it takes. He bows low, begging for a chance. This fighter sees the new fire in his eyes. He offers a deal with an impossible condition. A sharp, challenging smile appears. A desperate plea echoes in the rain. Back inside, a firm decision is made. He faces the dark-haired inmate, desperate to live. He bows, begging to be trained for survival. This inmate's warning is ice cold. He demands proof, not empty promises. A painful memory flashes. Protect what matters. This inmate sees his unwavering resolve. With a terrifying look, the kid learns training starts now. A doctor watches, giving harsh instructions. She teases the inmate for being a stubborn lone wolf. This kid is pushed far beyond his limits. He collapses, utterly spent, on the floor. He's given a new oversized uniform. It's a disguise to hide his body's transformation. If anyone realizes he's training, he'll be crushed. He must also learn the prison's power balance. Not all the heads are brutes like Kanemoto. Kanemoto is the only one obsessed with pure strength. This kid asks how the others gain their power. His mentor scoffs at the simple question. Ruling this place requires brains, not just brawn. This heads hold secret meetings to maintain order. Each leader keeps a trusted boss close by, and today is the day they all meet. A tense meeting begins. Kuraha Tetsu, South Block head, smirks. He questions a rival boss, Kanemoto. Kanemoto snaps back immediately. Kuraha suggests eliminating the source of trouble. He mocks Kanemoto's reliance on his fighter. Without his mutt, Kanemoto would be pathetic. Kanemoto explodes, slamming the table. A third man, Kazami, explains the pressure. Kuraha knows Kanemoto wants the kid dead. He questions if Kanemoto's man acted alone. He insults them both as reckless fools. That's the final straw. Kanemoto grabs him, ready to fight. Kuraha grins, grabbing a glass pitcher. He smashes it across Kanemoto's face. Kazami panics, warning about the director. A new voice orders them to stop. A tattooed man calls them pathetic. Naru's Quichi, East Block head, enters. He grabs Kanemoto by the neck and throws both men apart with ease. Kazami sighs in relief. Narus has control. This meeting can finally begin. Kuraha wipes his bloody lips, still defiant. This tattooed leader gives a stark warning. Amamori is to be kept alive no matter what. Another man tries to calm Kuraha down, but Kuraha sits in simmering silence. This tattooed man warns them not to involve his block. This pink-haired man smirks, unconcerned. Kuraha's silence is heavy, his anger palpable. His lack of protest is taken as agreement. With a clap, the pink-haired man ends the meeting. As the others leave, Kuraha remains seated. His hand tightens around a glass, shattering it. His face contorts with unrestrained fury. A white-haired man stays behind, addressing him. He notes the other bosses weren't on the same page. Kuraha scoffs at the order to spare Amamori. He declares that no one can stop his revenge. He issues a new command: make Amamori blood. This white-haired man eagerly accepts the task. Blood drips from Kuraha's hand onto the table. A dark glint in his eyes promises pain. Elsewhere, a new inmate analyzes the prison's leaders. He breaks down the personalities of each boss, but he seems unsure about the tattooed man Narus. Another inmate explains Narus's strategy of avoiding conflict. Narus protects his own but also punishes them himself. Amamori questions how one man holds such power. His trainer explains the legend of Narus, the center's strongest. This briefing ends. It's time to train. From her office, the Dr. Kanda observes. She files her report, silently rooting for Amamori. Elsewhere, an area is declared off-limits. Inside, the inmate Amamori, defeated, is being berated. His tattooed boss strikes him for the humiliation. This man swears he'll get revenge on Kuraha, but the boss only sees the shame brought upon him. An underling tries to calm the enraged boss. A calm white-haired man steps in to de-escalate. He reminds them to show restraint for their larger plans. This beaten subordinate grovels for forgiveness. This boss dismisses him with a final threat. He stumbles out of the room in disgrace. This boss vows to make Amamori a target for everyone. His associate smiles, promising a harsh lesson. Amamori trains relentlessly, expecting the worst. A quiet moment passes over the facility. He's alone cleaning the empty shower room. His muscles scream from the workout. Suddenly, a shower turns on by itself. He's certain the main valve was closed. A man with glasses is on cleaning duty. He freezes, sensing something is wrong. A hand grabs him, slamming him into the wall. Two thugs corner him, following the boss's orders. They hold his face over a bucket of filthy water. His head is shoved under as they laugh. Later in the laundry room, the torment continues. This man approaches with a cart of laundry. He realizes everyone is ignoring him. As he loads a machine, a shadow falls over him. This same two thugs close in from behind. A hard shove sends him stumbling forward. They begin forcing him into the washing machine. A hand reaches for the start button. He's trapped inside, bracing for impact. He pounds on the glass, begging to be let out. Other inmates watch but are told to leave it. One bystander can't bear to watch the cruelty. This abuse continues into mealtime. This man carries his food tray, looking defeated. He tries to walk past the other inmates. A thug deliberately spills hot soup on him. He recoils, crying out from the burn. This men mock him with fake concern. Another kick sends him crashing to the floor. A bully shoves the kid's face to the ground. He's ordered to eat or face solitary. This bully dismisses him, a constant source of trouble. A bloody bandage sits on an infirmary tray. In the infirmary, a nurse tends to his wounds. She asks the long-haired inmate for a plan. He coldly states this is a trial the kid must face alone. This kid with glasses looks up confused. This long-haired inmate offers a harsh lesson. Pain teaches strength. He must learn to see his opponent's habits while being beaten. This kid protests, saying he doesn't have that luxury. This long-haired inmate grabs his shoulder, offering to teach him. He gives him a choice: live as a fool or become a man who makes his enemies tremble. This training begins, his eyes filled with resolve. This kid with glasses lunges at his new mentor. His attack is easily met with a brutal counter. He's warned never to close his eyes in a fight. This first lesson: every attacker has a tell. A fist flies toward his face as a demonstration. He must identify, analyze, and memorize every move. Only then can he hope to dodge. After an hour, he finally evades a single punch. This mentor explains why taking hits is necessary to learn. He leaves him with a final command: do not waste this chance. This mentor tells him to finish the drills. He turns back with a rare compliment: you are no longer just a loser. This mentor leaves, counting under his breath. He asks the doctor for medical supplies. She warns him not to be too hard on the kid. He argues there's no time to be soft. If the boy gets caught, he's finished. This mentor smirks, dismissing her fears. Just like you believe in me, I believe in him. Meanwhile, the kid's brutal training continues. He sprays his eyes to practice tracking movement. This pain is sharp, intense, and constant. He keeps getting beaten down by the others, but through the haze he's starting to adapt. A bully taunts him while guards turn a blind eye. Other inmates casually bet on his daily beatings. But one inmate changes the subject. A dangerous prisoner, the collector, is being released. His reputation for collecting body parts is infamous. And after solitary, he's itching for a rampage. It's free time in the prison yard. This inmates whisper as our boy sits alone. Kaioyama emerges, escorted by a guard. A chilling, predatory smile spreads across his face. A voice calls out to the man with glasses. A challenger steps forward, demanding a fight. Onlookers identify him as Takedo Kaioyama, a complete madman. His reputation is brutal. He doesn't just fight, he maims. They call him the collector for the trophies he takes. Kaioyama introduces himself with a predatory smile. He makes a simple, terrifying request for an eye. Jin Amamori flinches, shocked by the demand. Kyoyama's grin widens at the silence. He takes that silence as a yes and attacks. This inmates immediately start taking bets on the fight. Kaioyama throws a wild, sweeping punch. Amamori is stunned, clutching his chest. His attacker licks his fingers with a deranged look. Kaioyama crouches, ready for his next move. He tells Amamori to pay close attention, to identify his fighting style, to find the weakness in his habit. Amamori dodges another vicious strike. He's analyzing, beginning to see the pattern. Kaioyama grows frustrated with the misses. He lunges again, screaming that luck will run out. Amamori has it figured out. A simple, repeated pattern. An idea sparks in his mind. He rips off his glasses, ready to make his own bet. This fight is over. His glasses lie shattered. A final, brutal punch connects. This opponent crashes to the ground. He's left broken and defeated. This last blow echoes across the yard. This crowd watches in disbelief. Their champion has actually lost. Another inmate suspects the winner is doping. Behind the fence, a man rages over the loss. This bet is settled. Takedo defeated Jin Amamori, but somewhere someone is smiling. Later, a sharp flick to the ear. This doctor warns him not to get cocky. Takedo, bandaged, is just glad to be alive, but his mother's gift is now broken. A man named Shin enters the infirmary. He steps forward with purpose. Takedo bows, but Shin is unimpressed. He warns that the next fights will be harder. Shin holds out a small package. A gift to celebrate his first victory, and a command: become a mad dog. This doctor scoffs at his harsh methods. This gift is a pair of contact lenses. She then remembers one last thing. This doctor points to the container. This bandaged fighter opens the gift. His eyes widen in shock. It's his mother's homemade rice cakes. This doctor says his mother is doing well. He's overwhelmed with emotion. A memory flashes back to his childhood, his mother cooking his favorite meal. This same food sits before him now. He eats, tears of gratitude falling. He asks how she knew about this. She reveals Hong Xiang arranged it before the fight. He's stunned by his friend's absolute faith. A hand pulls a tissue from a box. She tells him to eat and rest because tomorrow will be even harder. Elsewhere, a man is slammed to the floor. This bald enforcer berates him for losing, but the beaten man is smiling. He's become obsessed with Jin Amamori. This enforcer kicks him for his smirk. In the shadows, a leader watches. He finds Amamori's victory surprising. He orders his men to keep watching Amamori. Was it just a coincidence or something more? This trainer sees a flicker of change in the kid, this lonely light of the training room. A new brutal regimen is announced. This kid squares up ready for the lesson. His mentor lunges forward without warning. He dodges the trainee's clumsy punch and drives a fist into his gut. This impact sends a shockwave through him. A harsh lesson, tighten your core to survive. Next, the trainer grabs him by the throat. He forces the kid to count the seconds. As his air supply is cut off, panic sets in, senses begin to dull. This moment of relief is the perfect opening to strike, but what if he's the one being attacked? This answer is impossible. Control your own heartbeat. True strength is mental domination over the body. Every strike must understand the body's mechanics. He's ordered to memorize a skeletal diagram. Without it, every punch is just a blind swing. He learns to pin an opponent and use his knee. This kid's first kick is clumsy and weak. He tries again, this time with real power. Faster, the trainer demands, pushing him harder. A blur of motion, a flash of raw potential. His training is finally complete. This well-dressed man praises his work. He says the kid is ready to fight alone. This first target, his own room leader. He must become the mad dog everyone fears. A loudspeaker echoes through the prison. Free time is over. This mentor offers one last piece of advice. He has to choose the time and place. Back in his cell, a voice calls his name, Amamori. This room leader notes his early return. Another inmate is on his bed refusing to move. Amamori yanks the sheet from under him. He throws a punch at the man, something foul splatters from the fabric. Amamori recoils in disgust. This long-haired inmate just smirks. He erupts in laughter at the newbie's reaction. He claims he was just wiping his hands. This inmate preaches about cooperation. Then the room leader gets uncomfortably close. A dangerous glint appears in Amamori's eyes. This leader's taunts are cut short. Amamori lands a vicious, calculated blow. This room leader stumbles back, bleeding and enraged. This man in blue dodges a wild swing. He pivots, letting the momentum pass. This room leader grins, bloodied but impressed. He declares the warm-up is officially over. He plants his foot, gathering immense power. A devastating punch flies forward, and the block sends a shockwave up his arms, numbing them instantly. This leader boasts about his hard-earned position. He screams that he despises weakness. If he were incompetent like others, he would have been dead long ago. Enraged, our boy throws a desperate punch, but his fist is caught midair. He roars, defending a friend's honor, a sickening crack as his bones are crushed. This room leader's eyes burn with killing intent. Onlookers whisper as our boy lands a clean hit. This punch sends the leader staggering back. He plants a hand, steadying himself for the next move. A low kick sweeps his opponent off balance. A memory surfaces, a lesson on anatomy's weak points. He targets the knee just as he was taught. This room leader's leg buckles from the precise strike. He blocks a wild swing with his own leg and tackles the man to the ground, taking control. He rains down blow after blow. A memory surfaces, break their will to fight. This room leader chokes on his own blood. This others realize their fate is tied to his. A long-haired inmate rushes in to help, but our boy blocks the punch effortlessly. This attacker recoils, his hand throbbing in pain. From behind, another inmate raises a weapon. A chilling glare stops him cold. This man freezes, claiming he's just passing by, but the leader has one last trick. He pulls a hidden shiv from his ankle. He lunges, mocking the kid's carelessness. This sharpened point aims for a fatal blow. A desperate final attack is launched. This makeshift weapon closes in fast, but his eyes promise a different outcome. He dodges the lunge with impossible speed and delivers a brutal counterpunch. This shiv clatters uselessly to the floor. He drags the defeated man up by his shirt, standing over the broken former leader. A slight tremor in his hand, the fight's only toll. He announces their defeat to the terrified onlookers and claims his new title, room leader. This cell block is grim and silent. A guard announces lights out in 10 minutes. Among the inmates, our boy stands alone. He clenches his fist tightly. This victory still feels unreal to him. Another prisoner shoves past him. An inmate tells him the rules are the rules. He warns him not to get comfortable as a leader. This kid asks what happens to a leader who loses. A female inmate says their fate is a miserable one. He's told to stop hiding his strength. Challenges are coming. This weight of his new position sinks in. This final call for lights out echoes through the hall. Others whisper about the fate of the defeated leader. He studies the hierarchy, his next target, the general. For Masaki's sake, he must grow even stronger. He resolves to learn more from Shin. Darkness falls over the prison. A lone shadow moves through the corridor. This night guard makes his rounds. A note is secretly passed between cells. It reaches an inmate with white-streaked hair, the general. He reads the report, his man has lost the fight, he crumples the note in disgust. This new kid is finally baring his fangs. We cut to the South District prison. Inside a cell, laughter echoes. A long-haired inmate reads a report. He cackles knowing his rival is furious. Meanwhile in the West District, a scarred inmate sits alone reading the same news. He smirks impressed by the outcome. And in the East District, Narus walks the halls. A guard knocks on his cell door. He reports that Amamori defeated the cell leader. Narus at his desk asks about injuries. Amamori is unharmed, the leader is not. This guard is dismissed for the night. Narus stares out at the full moon. He realizes this victory changes everything. This next day the prison yard is tense. Inmates whisper as Amamori passes. He notes their fear is different this time. A new face approaches his table. It's the West District boss Shusuke Kazami. Kazami says his alliance with Kanemoto lets him be here. Amamori asks him to get to the point. Kazami offers a helping hand seeing his potential. Amamori remains guarded demanding an explanation. This offer is laid bare, be my spy and I'll protect you. A scarred inmate offers protection calling himself a boss. Our boy flatly refuses the offer. This boss is enraged questioning his decision. This kid sees the truth, the boss is desperate. He admits he's too weak to be a real ally. His hand slams down in frustration. He storms off telling the kid to suit himself. This boss walks away fuming over the disrespect. A message is passed, Amamori rejected Kazami's offer. Other inmates wonder about all the attention. They're shocked the crybaby actually want to fight. For someone so low, beating a cell leader is a major event. Amamori walks alone when someone calls his name. He turns to find two men waiting for him. A well-dressed inmate greets him for the first time. He introduces himself as the East District boss Koichi Narus. Later, Amamori stands alone in his cell. He's lost in thought contemplating the new players. A sudden blow strikes his stomach. He doubles over forced to apologize. A new face with white-streaked hair smiles down. Amamori looks up asking what he wants. An underling shouts a warning, this is the North District boss, another boss. Amamori suspects Kanemoto's influence. This boss reveals the reason, that cell leader was his man. This two-tone leader smirks taunting his target. He orders his two men to attack. This man in blue throws a punch, but he's immediately countered from above. A fist smashes into his guard. He grits his teeth feeling the pressure. Another punch slams hard into his side. He stumbles back completely off balance. This second attacker lands a clean hit. Bloodied, he stays in the fight. He desperately blocks another heavy blow, but he sees the next attack coming. A fist connects, snapping his head back. They force him down to his knees. This leader gloats over his helplessness. He reveals the previous win meant nothing. This leader kneels explaining his rules. This is payback for public humiliation. This man in blue is held fast. This leader leaves him to his men. He realizes he can't handle multiple opponents. This path to the top seems impossible. Later in a quiet moment, he wipes the blood from his mouth. He sees another inmate, a near-perfect double. In the cell, an injured man sits alone. He retreats to the washroom uncertain. An inmate in blue watches, sensing his pride. Two others share a cruel, knowing look. They corner him by the toilet. This bully gives him a disgusting order. This injured man's eyes burn with rage. A heavy blow strikes his back. This bully calls him a pariah fit only for this task. His crony joins the taunting. He grits his teeth enduring the humiliation. His hand steadies him on the floor. This bully threatens death if he fails the game. A voice cuts through the tension. Enough. This man in blue grabs the bully's shoulder. He orders him to stop this nonsense. This others protest, citing the rules. But the man in blue declares he makes the rules here. He challenges anyone to defy him by force. This bully's sweat clearly intimidated. One of them backs down, calling it stupid. But the injured man Amamori shouts his name. He refuses the pity, screaming he'd rather die. Amamori vows he will have the last laugh against Nagasawa. Nagasawa smirks, using Amamori's pride against his defender. A dark realization hits him. He heads to the infirmary and unleashes his frustration. On a lone punching bag, a memory of a friend's plea echoes. He doesn't understand their resistance. Suddenly, a figure appears in the doorway. He turns, recognizing Dr. Kanda. She sees his anger and asks what happened. He struggles to find the words. He just wants to make things better for everyone. She explains that people fear change. To change the system, he must become the boss. A new resolve hardens in his eyes. He asks how to fight multiple opponents. Her advice is simple, run away. Then she lunges with blinding speed, demonstrating a single lethal strike. This room is still the lesson delivered. He's stunned by her incredible quickness. He barely registered the movement. She reminds him she's no ordinary doctor. This lesson ends, his duties call. She offers a final word of encouragement. His work shift begins on the floor. In the reformatory, inmates work for points. Collect enough and you earn a family visit, but work assignments are handled by a boss. This north block is run by Ishida Iji. A guard briefs the new room leaders. Our boy Amamori listens intently. One person fails, everyone loses points. This inmates file into the workroom. Amamori hopes this will let him see his mother. But a whispered warning reaches his ears. Ishida plans to make Amamori do the thing. Two of Ishida's men are waiting for him. Amamori approaches to get sterilized trays. An inmate pulls a rack from the machine. He offers the scorching hot trays with a smirk. Amamori takes the heavy cart, but as he pushes the wheel jams, this cart is completely stuck. This men tell him to carry the trays by hand. He asks to use another inmate's cart, but he's smugly refused. They mock him for being scared of the heat. He realizes this is a deliberate setup. This man's face twists in shock. Another inmate grabs Amamori, yelling he'll get them all penalized. A shout echoes through the facility. Inmates rush in demanding answers. Amamori is cornered, wondering where the guards are. A smug inmate reveals they're all alone. He realizes this is Ishida's plan. This man he was holding smirks. A hand flashes toward his head. This ringleader grabs him by the hair. He shoves Amamori down, threatening him. A heavy tray lies on the floor. Amamori is ordered to move it. His hand grips the cold metal. He grits his teeth, enduring the humiliation. Another inmate taunts him as he lifts. He approaches a steaming machine. He deliberately presses his hand onto the hot surface. He presents the tray to the freckled inmate. This inmate recoils, seeing Amamori's burned hand. Amamori yells he's injured, needing the infirmary. A guard casually waves them through. This freckled inmate leads Amamori away, but Amamori takes the lead down a different hall. His captor looks confused. He stops, realizing this is the wrong way. This inmate grins, revealing it's all part of Ishida's orders. This enforcer smirks, citing Ishida's orders. A dissenter questions the harsh methods. He's immediately threatened into silence. This temperature drops to a brutal -60 degrees. Our boy is dragged away, shouting to be let go. His captor taunts him. No guards will come here. He reveals Ishida's gift, a frozen pipe. They shove him towards the icy valve, forcing his bare hand onto the metal. He realizes his mistake. Violence is the only rule. In this place, only power matters for survival. To live, he must accept this brutal law. His skin tears, blood freezing on the wheel. This pain is excruciating, his hand ruined. After everything he's endured, this is the last straw. He clenches his bloody fist, ready to fight. No matter what, he will fight back until the end.